education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
Yes, it is I. Yes, it is I. And for a second there, I was thinking that you guys were actually live in the Salt Lake City studio talking of the microphones.
I mean,
because we all just spoke. We all just talked.
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes ago. So when the intro started, I was like, oh, they just slid in front of the microphone and started reading off the script.
Just slid in front.
Those of you that are actually watching, you can see all four of us are here. It's Zach, Dad, myself, and Alex.
Wave to the camera. Good enough.
Good enough. All right. Well, thank you for the opening music and books that every American should read and understand. Is this left over from last week, or do we want to do a reminder?
Go ahead and do a reminder.
You already mentioned it.
So something that we've been obviously pushing for a long, long time is the Patriot Bookshelf and purchasing actual, no kidding, books, like real dead tree books that you can. I'm looking for it right now. Zach, do me a favor.
Yes, sir.
Do you have your show notes open, or Jared?
I have my show notes open right now.
Okay, click the link and see if it goes anywhere, because it's not taking me anywhere.
The patriotbookshelf.com?
It's taken me to
because it's spelled wrong.
Who spelled that wrong?
Probably me.
So it's
yeah, that reminds me. Don't worry, Jared. When I did this last week, I corrected that.
Thank you.
I forgot to mention it.
Okay, so
also remind me to mention.
Go ahead and put the link in there.
Don't mention. It's all right.
So let me talk now. What are we seeing? We talked yesterday or Monday about Google and YouTube censoring things that they don't like. How they censored us. They pulled down a video, made it disappear because it was a topic that made them uncomfortable. It was the truth. It was factual. There were no lies. There was no slander or libel, but they didn't like the opinion that was stated, so they made it disappear. Google's doing the same thing. Facebook is doing the same thing. How can we combat that? You could combat it by actually purchasing real, legitimate, like dead tree.
Yeah.
Dead tree and owning it. And that Google can't censor the books that you own. You know, at least
they may
we're not to that point yet. Zachary brought something up a couple of days ago, and he's about the UN and how every 6 months to a year since I've been 18 or 19 years old, there's always a UN scare or a UN rumor. Did you know that John Kerry signed the UN treaty? And I said, yeah, that may have been the case. John Kerry may have signed a UN treaty. Bill Clinton may have signed a UN treaty.
The guy who hosts The Price is Right?
No, John Kerry. What?
Drew Carey.
Who is this kid? Okay, you're an idiot.
Same thing.
And here's why. And I'm not saying that they didn't. And I'm not saying that leftists aren't for one world government. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that they're not going to send blue helmeted UN troops in white vehicles to the United States of America, to Chicago or Detroit or wherever to patrol the streets. It's not going to happen. And the reason it's not going to happen is because the left, our enemies, the Democrats, know that if that were to happen, if they were legitimately to appear and we would take pictures and share them with each other via all of our, digital outlets, that every gun owner in America would unite, whether they're union members or 40 caliber lovers or 1911 people or whatever. It doesn't matter. Every gun owner, even the people are like, I don't like the NRA because they didn't send me my hat like they promised to. Now I don't have my NRA hat, so I don't like them. Even those people would all unite. And there's no way. The one thing the Democrats and liberals know, it's the politics of division. It's pitting people against one another. Everyone is a victim of something. Men or women And not men. Men are never victims unless they're not white men. Black men are victims, women are victims, gays are victims. And now we can't just have gay victims anymore. Now we have to take the gay victims and we have to marginalize them into LGBTQTS, trans this and that. We have to have all these marginalized groups of victims so that we can control them. Because if you're a victim group, you're easy to control. Because by the fact that you are a victim, someone or some agency or some group has to make things right for you because you're a victim. Well, there's no way that they're ever going to roll white UN vehicles with blue helmeted troops down the streets of America to enforce UN gun confiscation, because that's what, first of all, every red-blooded American veteran with a rifle would be like, oh, it's game on, bro. And second of all, it would unite all of the American gun owners. That is probably the greatest nightmare that the liberal Democrat progressives have, is that if every American who is a gun owner, that doesn't make you a de facto patriot. We've talked about that. But every American who is a gun owner, if they were united in purpose, there would be no more liberal Democrat progressives in America. They'd be gone. They'd be marginalized to the point of, flat earth. they would become the flat earth society if all gun owners in America were united. And when it comes to books, to actual physical books, they're not going to pull books out in mass, and they're not going to go to libraries and bookstores and so forth. They're not going to do that, because if it were seen that they were, in bulk, in mass, burning books, taking books, or whatever, well, then people would unite against that. It's way easier to just have Google go in and create an algorithm, anything that's patriot, America, 2 or 3 words in combination, guns, liberty. If you put guns, liberty, and patriot in a paragraph, the Facebook algorithm scrubs it and marks it as hate speech. We just had over on 4th of July, Facebook's hate speech algorithm was banning quotes from the Declaration of Independence. They flagged the Declaration of Independence as hate speech because they created an algorithm. How can you combat that? By owning physical dead tree copies of real books. Things that you can actually put into your children's hands and say, read this. You don't need batteries. You don't need a Wi-Fi connection. You just need light and eyes and an ability to understand the English language. So, the link is in the show notes. Go there and avail yourself to all of these good books. Some of mine are in there, but most of them are not mine. They're other people's. What do we do every Wednesday? Well, in addition to all the good stuff that we do a Brownells Bullet Points Guns and Gear segment. Hey, Jared.
Yeah.
Jared, turn your microphone on. I see at the top of number 2 book in the Patriot bookshelf, just because coincidence, is Be Ready When the Poop Goes Down, a survival guide.
Oh, that's funny.
Forrest Griffin.
Yeah.
Did anybody in that side of the house ever get a hold of Forrest Griffin that you know of?
No, that I know of. I should probably follow up on that, because
You need to follow up on that crap. All right. Guns and Gear segment this week from Brownells, our good friends at Brownells. And if you're not following brownells.com, if you're not signed up for their newsletter, you're wrong. Like pee-pee cancer, like wiener cancer, you're wrong. So fix yourself. Go do it. NAC 9 9mm pistol. First impressiones. All right. I'm going to give you my first impressions. As you know, if you follow us on socialist media, if you follow us on the socialist media, I got my hands on a NAC 9. It's a Romanian Draco NAK 9mm from Century. They're imported. I got my hands on one about a week or so ago, a little more than a week ago now. And I was able to get out on the 4th of July and put a whole bunch of ammo through it. So what are my first impressions? Number one, use genuine Glock magazines. I know there are a lot of aftermarket magazines out there. You could probably get away with the Magpul ones. As a matter of fact, I think Zach, did we use any of the Magpul 17 rounders?
Yes. I want to say we did.
He doesn't.
I'll say we did,
He
and then
doesn't
provide
remember.
no proof that I did whatsoever.
Yeah, just go with Glock mags. I know you could probably save the Magpul ones. This is what I've had to do with Magpul, and I'm not sure if they've altered them or changed them. The Magpul Glock mags. I've taken them apart and actually taken a wire brush and kind of soft polished the inside of the magazine body and reassembled them. Because when I first got them, it felt like the follower was catching and dragging on the mag body. So I polished and smoothed them out a little bit, and now they work a lot better. But genuine Glock bags are not that expensive. They really aren't. Matter of fact, Brownells has got the Glock 18 magazines. I'm going to go look it up right now, but I'm pretty sure that they have them on sale. They had them on sale when I ordered one. I did a cigar time the other day, and I held one up for the camera. What Brownells was doing, in addition to your normal black ones, they did a special order of olive drab and flat dark earth. So there's that. If you want that, and I believe both the olive drab one and the flat dark earth one were on sale. So,
are you talking about the ones with no holes?
No. What do you mean, the Magpuls or the Brownells ones?
Magpuls.
Yeah, the ones with no holes.
That's the one. Okay. They have a 17 round mag?
Yeah, duh.
Mine's only 50.
They have standard mags. Duh.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah, every one of the official Glock, they're Glock 18 magazines, but in the catalog it says 17/34, 33 round mags. You can get them in black, olive drab, and flat dark earth, and those are special runs, limited runs that they did, and they're all on sale. They were $35.99. Now they're $31.99. Remember when during the great Comrade Barry guns and ammo scare when Glock 18 mags were going for $100 a piece? Yeah, you guys probably remember that. So if you have a NAC 9 or if you're thinking about getting one, just get genuine Glock magazines and be done with it. Number two, the gun does not like jacketed hollow point ammo, which isn't really a surprise because my Uzi doesn't like it either. And a lot of fixed barreled guns, carbine style, fixed barrel carbine guns, many of them do not like to feed jacketed hollow point ammo. So don't worry about it. It's no big deal. What you can't, I ran the Fiocchi 115 grain ball and the Black Hills 115 grain ball, and those ran through no problem, no sweat, zero malfunctions, zero stoppages. And then I ran the Honey Badger, the Black Hills Honey Badger 125 grain through there, and it fed no problem. So if you're wanting to load your NAC up with defensive ammo, just use the Honey Badger. Buy a couple of boxes, load a magazine, and if you're one of those guys, you're like, I'm going to keep this by my bedside or in a truck or whatever. Okay, go crazy. And of course, what do we know? The great thing about the Honey Badger from Black Hills, the 9mm is, I think it's factory rated at 990 or 995. So it's just under supersonic. So it runs great in suppressors. And that takes me to the last point that I'm going to make. The 1/2x28 thread on the end of the NAC 9 is perfect for 9mm cans. I have the Tyrant can from AAC, and you can get those from Silencer Shop. You guys should all know that. If you want to order a 9mm can, just go to Silencer Shop. But I threaded it on there. I put the 1/2x28 thread adapter. I put the fixed adapter. I took the spring out because you don't want a spring on a fixed barrel can. We talked about that. And many people have been afraid or worried or leery when they get Russian guns or overseas guns, Romanian, Czech, whatever, that the muzzle threads are not 100% true. meaning that they're slightly off, which is no big deal if you're using a standard muzzle device. But if you're using a 6 or 7 inch suppressor and it's off by a half a degree, that can cause bullet strikes or baffle strikes in your can. Bad juju, you ruin your can. Now you're having a bad day, right? So I threaded it on there, secured it, snugged it down. Guess what? No problem. And I guess the last thing is I was impressed that the sights were already on. I didn't have to adjust the sights. I stood back at about 35 yards away from a half steel silhouette, pressed the trigger, ding, first hit. I was like, that's good enough for me. I'm not even going to screw with these. So the sights were on the gun. As long as I put jacketed hollow point, or I'm sorry, full metal jacket ball ammo in the gun, or the honey badger ammo, ran great. Ran great with the suppressor, no problem there. And I actually had some full metal jacket 147 grain that I tested through there. Ran a full magazine of 147 grain subsonic full metal jacket through the gun, no sweat, no problem. So the only time I had an issue is when I tried to shoot jacketed hollow point through the gun. So if you can live with that, then you're good. Then you're golden. One other word of advice, and I'll progress and move on. If you want one of these guns and you see one at a gun shop or gun show, unless it's $900 or $1,000, if it's less than $800 and you really want one of these guns, get out your wallet and buy it, because these guns don't hang around. When they show up at gun stores and so forth, they generally are gone pretty fast. Somebody said, and so if you want to play I bet you I can find one for $25 less than that, you're probably not going to. So you live your life like you want to live it. Okay. All right. Moving on. Frog Lube is green. It's minty fresh. It's bio-based. It is a U.S. veteran-owned company. It's extreme, and it works. And I didn't talk about this before, but I'll talk about it now. What I did with the NAC9, as soon as I got it, I disassembled it. I sprayed down the entire bolt group with the Frog Lube solvent, wiped it down, got it dry. Then I put Frog Lube Extreme on it, reassembled it, took it to the range, and wouldn't you know it, ran like a champ. There you go. Froglube.com. Century Arms, we've just been talking about them. Century Arms is the sweetest milling arms maker in the U.S. of A, and you can get the AKs, the 9mm Canic pistols, and now the NAC9. CenturyArms.com. Duracoat. I know you guys are probably sitting out there, you're thinking, I know Paul's going to Duracoat that gun. And you're right. You would be correct.
Not a hard guess to make.
Paul is going to Duracoat that gun. I have a couple of parts on order. I have a couple of parts on order that have not arrived yet. But when those parts arrive, I will be the final thing. That's what you do with gun projects. You put them all together, make sure they work, then take them all apart, then Duracoat them, and put them all back together, and then you're golden, right? Yep. That's the last thing. So if you would like to Duracoat anything, a gun project, a pistol project, you want to Duracoat your front door, I don't care. Mailbox, go crazy, man. You can go to DuracoatFirearmFinishes.com. Tell them that Student of the Gun sent you. All right, SWAT Fuel wants you to be, well, they want you to have what?
I was just giving you more support.
They want you to be stronger and have a sharper mind.
Yes.
This year. Right now.
Do you not notice that I often just point at you
and tell me that I'm doing a good job?
Yeah.
Thank you for the moral support, Zachary.
You're
Zachary's telling me that I'm doing a good job. You know what I didn't do yesterday? I didn't remind you guys that you can use the promo code SOTG to save money at SWATfuel.com, but you should do that.
Yeah. Well, the good news is you've done it now, so all is forgiven.
That is true. That is true.
You should go to SWATfuel.com anyway, even if we didn't have that awesome code for you guys.
But it's good to be one of our listeners, because we're saving you freaks money all the time.
So much money.
We are.
I didn't realize, and he didn't tell me not to say this, so I'm going to assume that it was permission to go ahead and say it. Tom Hollaby, the winner of yesterday's Warrior of the Week, or 2 days ago on Monday's Warrior of the Week, he started out at about 300 pounds, and he said that he started out by taking the pills and then not really doing much, and then he would listen to you say, well, you got to do something. So he got up and he actually started doing treadmill and some other stuff as well. I think kettlebells or some sort, but don't quote me on that. but then he made it down to, I think he's 260 or 240, one of those two, but I'm pretty sure it was 240. So yeah.
Oh, well, good.
He's 60 pounds down, and just by, I think he was using the fat burn formula. And so
yeah,
he did something.
Yeah, people are like, well, I took that stuff and it's not working. Well, what do you mean it's not working? Well, what are you doing? What kind of training program are you on? Well, not. I'm on the sit on my couch training program. Yeah, you got to be on something other than the sit on the couch training program. Okay. I mean, live your life like you want it. Yeah. But you still, you got it.
He said he's at 238 today.
Excellent. 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 All right. So, yeah, if you're going to do the SWAT fuel, yeah, you need a program other than the sit on the couch program. All right. It's time for a Student of the Gun Homeroom. This is brought to you by our good friends at where? Crossbreedholsters.com. All right, freaks and freakettes. We often talk on the show here about being dangerous on demand. Do we not? Yes, we do. Now, I posted a photo on the socialist media a few days ago of a new knife that Zachary and I discovered. Zachary, did we discover? Zachary actually discovered it, and he brought it to my attention.
And I forced it upon you.
Yes, he told me I had to look at that.
Yes.
We found a UK approved kitchen knife.
Yep.
It's pink, it's polymer, and it doesn't have a point.
Yep.
I think that's probably as UK approved as we're ever going to get, right?
I mean, it is serrated, so.
Well, it has plastic serrations like a knife that you might take to a picnic.
So is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know. You think that'll get through through the knife, the bin that knife sensors? You think that'll get through?
Possibly.
We'll have to find out. But it's the mental weakness of socialists that we really need to be aware of, that we really need to be on guard for. And I'm looking for this story, and I've got two stories I want to share with you guys. Number one, this is from, let's see, it's from Down Under, mate. It's 7plus.com.au. And I'm trying to find the exact story, and all I'm getting is the homepage. What the farfignugan? So I'll have to do this. If you look up Australian home invasions, there's one. Okay. I want to talk about the understanding or the idea of being dangerous on demand and being an actual armed citizen. You see, we often gloss over this. We spend a lot of time, you and I, on this show. We talk about holsters. We talk about guns. We talk about ammo. We talk about all this, all this gear, all this stuff that we carry. And that's good because you have to have gear. But what do you have to have before holsters and gear and all of that? What do you have to have?
The right mindset.
Exactly. Yes, you have to have the right mindset. You need to understand the value of being dangerous on demand. And apparently, absolutely, this is what happens when you allow socialists to take over your country. When you, as a citizenry, decide that, in the interest of fairness, what we're going to do is blankety blank blank. When you listen to politicians and they start talking about fair this and fair that and so forth, what you end up with is socialism. And if people don't stop, people in my family don't stop messing with my show notes while I'm looking at them, I'm going to get up from this table and I'm going to start killing people.
I was trying to help. I
All
found
right?
the same story.
There was 3 people at one time adjusting the show notes. Stop it.
Well, I undid it. So
All right,
there.
stop it.
That
So
top story doesn't load.
I know. Calm down. Calm down.
Oh, you better be ready. You better be ready for the people on the other side to take your audio and just stream it.
All right. So number 1.
Audio
Number
segment.
1. Australia. Dateline, July 5th, 2018. Child care centers, and they spell it in the gay socialist way, RES. Child care centres banning toy guns could lead to new policies forcing the practice. Well, let's dive in a little farther, shall we? Child care centres are banning toy guns and plastic fake knives to eradicate kids playing violent, warlike games. Operators, are they standing by? Usually operators are standing by. Operators have also been outlawing mock pirate swords, bows and arrows, and even Lego weapons, reports the Daily Telegraph. Their investigation reveals the Australian Child Care Alliance of New South Wales, NSW, will survey 1,600 centres for policies of this nature. They'll be asking if the current policies and guidelines should be put in place currently enough. They'll be asking if there are currently enough policies and guidelines in place for toy weapons. So what we're looking at here is the Australian Child Care Alliance of New South Wales. They're going to do a survey to determine whether there are enough policies preventing toy guns in Australia.
They've already banned all violent video games.
Oh, yeah. And remember the story
8.
we had about how children, they're passing a law to make so that children, no one under 18 was allowed to participate in combat sport activities. No karate, jujitsu, taekwondo, boxing, anything like that. Because
Pee-wee karate is a staple of youth development.
The alliance is stepping in, could see games like Cops and Robbers banned from the playground.
So are they gonna arrest the children?
Here we go.
Catch them playing Cops and Robbers?
Some parents may fear restrictions could hinder a child's imaginations. Experts have also disputed claims such toys lead to detrimental changes in a child's conduct. It doesn't matter whether it's actually true. It doesn't matter if it's actually true. We have to enforce our socialist viewpoint on the people. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to get to the kids early and often, brainwash the children, like we're doing in the United States of America, brainwash the children into believing that guns are bad and bows and arrows are bad and swords are bad and pretend this is bad and anything aggressive. So what you want is you want a whole bunch of subservient tax slaves that will never, ever, ever, that don't even have in their mind that they would ever fight back. You need to program the children to believe that all guns are bad and all behavior, all physical behavior, like fighting, is bad. Now it's okay if the state does. It's okay if the state sends, the gun squads to your house to kick in your doors. That's all right because the state has the right. But you, as a mere peasant, have no right. Speaking of having no rights, the story's a little bit older, but it's this year. So Australia, they're going to brainwash their children into believing that all guns are bad. And Well, how long has Australia had their hardcore gun ban? It was 1997 that they did a forced buyback. Basically, surrender your guns or we'll come to your house and we'll take them from you.
Either let us buy them from you or let us take them from you.
Yeah,
one of
we'll
the
take
two.
them from you. You have no rights. You are a peasant. Well, that was 20 years ago, 1997, 21 years ago. And what were we told? What was the whole world told? That this is a step in the right direction, and leftists and progressives they love to point at England and Australia and other countries and say, look, they have gun bans. Look at their gun ban. We need to do just like them. Until the facts come in and then are like, oh, never mind. Look another way. Violent home invasions surge in Victoria, and that is a province of Australia, in January and February of this year, 2018. 21 years after the great gun purge in Australia, after they were told that for safety, in order to make sure that everyone's safe, you can't have guns. No guns. Guns are bad. And if we take everyone's guns, then it'll dramatically reduce violent crime. Except that it's not. Victorians are terrified, and rightly so, the story begins. Every morning they wake to news of another violent home invasion overnight. A knife held to a pensioner's throat. Children screaming as masked men hover over their beds. Intruders using crowbars and baseball bats to terrorize homeowners. And you're like, Jared, well, why don't these homeowners shoot these mofos right in their faces so they stop doing that? And you're like, oh, that's right, because they can't, because they're slaves. What did we learn from our Australian friends? Even if you go through the year-long, the 14-month Mother May I permission slip process to get a 22 target pistol, you can't just keep that thing on your bedside, on your nightstand. And no, it has to be at all times secured in a safe unless you're going to or from the shooting club. Yeah. And you can't just have the ammo. It can't be loaded. It has to be unloaded. Because if you don't, you're a criminal. You're a bad person.
Wasn't there even a story where somebody broke into an old man's house and threatened him with a knife, and then a screwdriver, and then he stabbed them with the screwdriver, then he got arrested and charged with murder?
That was in England.
Okay.
Yes, and we also I just shared another story about another couple who he used a shotgun or something to drive off home invaders, and now they've filed charges against the homeowner.
They as in the home invaders, or they as in the state?
The state has filed charges against the homeowner.
I don't know if that's better or worse.
Mm-hmm. So it's bad.
I know it's bad, but there's also if the home invaders could be successfully pushing lawsuit against the people they broke into their house.
Oh, why not?
Yeah. It could be both. Who knows?
Yeah. In January and February of this year, this is in Victoria, Australia, where they have awesome gun control laws, where the gun control laws of Australia, this is what the liberals of America want. The Schumers and the Maxine Waters and the Pelosi's and the, Nanny Bloombergs are like, we need to be civilized like England and Australia. Homes were broken into by armed men. Now, hang on a second. How can there be armed men breaking into people's homes when they have gun control?
Impossible.
I don't understand.
Foreigners. It's just impossible.
But they have all kinds of wonderful forward-thinking, progressive gun control laws in Australia, and but armed men are breaking into homes. Oh, people are calling it horrendous and abhorrent. Hey, if you're down under listening to me right now, I feel bad for you. I'm sorry for you, but this is what happens when you don't fight against socialism. When you acquiesce, when you say, well, fairness and equality for all, and the socialists just want to take care of everyone, and they want to make sure that everything's fair for everyone. That's how it always starts. And then you, the tax-paying, the tax slave peasants, then you are disarmed. And it's because, it's not fair for you to have guns, because then you could argue with the state. You could argue with the socialists if you had guns, and they don't like that. They don't want somebody with a gun having a varied opinion. So what do? We disarm do we disarm the state? Do we disarm the whole country? Well,
No.
hell no, we don't. The popo and the state, they got to have guns. But we just disarm the unreliable people. And you say, but when you disarm the unreliable people, like the criminals and terrorists and the roving gangs, and somebody from down under sent us a story, and they said that there are gangs of African immigrants and drug addicted people. And I didn't yet not know this, Jared. We might do some further research, but one of our Australian listeners said that there is a state approved methamphetamine that is not illegal to consume, but it's still meth. And these state sanctioned meth heads are smashing into people's homes and terrorizing and ripping them off. Oh, and gangs of African immigrants. I wonder what religion of peace the African immigrants endorse. Just pondering.
No idea.
Just pondering. So, we're talking about being an armed citizen, being dangerous on demand. But it doesn't matter what you have or don't have available if you first surrender your mind, if you first surrender to the idea. And that's exactly what's going on in Australia. And that's exactly the path that the Democrat, liberal, progressive scumbags of America think that we should be on. I for one, think that we should not be on that path. Can you imagine, Jared, living in a country where not only don't you have the wherewithal or the tools, but then if you even try to fight back, then they charge you? Like this is upside down world. This is Orwellian crap.
Yeah.
But that's what socialism's all about. And young skulls full of mush idiots are walking around our college campuses all over America thinking that this is a great idea and we need to do it here in America. I need to take a drink of water.
Attention, new listeners. We produced a complimentary online training course called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. Get instant access by joining the Student Lounge for free at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of these questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
All right, I'm back. Are you back? We've got a story here. I've been telling you for years that Democrats, liberals, and progressives, and they're all the same. They're all socialist, communist. Communism is just liberalism, and socialism are just what did Kennedy say on TV? She said, diet communism. So yeah, socialism in America is essentially diet communism. It's communism in a new dress and lipstick. Socialists, communists, and Democrats are bullies. They always have been. They have been my entire life. If you go back to the socialist pushes of the United States, if you don't know this, and most of you don't, we had a hardcore socialist push in America in the 20s, leading up, and then another rejuvenation into the 40s, thanks to that left-wing scumbag FDR. Yes, FDR was a Democrat scumbag. Sorry if it hurt your feelings. He was not a great guy. He was a scumbag. He was a socialist. He wanted the central federal government to have control over everything that happened in the 50 states. He wanted them to be in charge of your life. And we're still paying for the weakness that we allowed to happen in the 40s.
For a second, I thought you were saying JFK.
No,
FDR.
FDR.
Okay.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Yeah, I
was
know
a
now,
socialist.
I forgot.
So we had a hardcore push. We had a hardcore push socialism in the 20s. We had organized groups. if I say gangs, people are like, oh, there weren't gangs. They were labor organizations and groups that forced socialism on people, that beat people up who did not share their opinions. The socialists and communists and Democrats beating people up that don't share their opinions or that voice an opposite opinion is not new. It's as old as socialism itself. 20s, 40s, 60s. And here we are today. That's right. All they're doing is they're rereading and replaying the socialist playbook. And most of you have probably seen this, unless your name is David Martin Holder, that a socialist Democrat a-hole in San Antonio, Texas, decided that it would be a good idea to bully a couple of teenage boys sitting in a Whataburger. One of them was wearing a MAGA hat, a red hat. And so Kino Jimenez walks up to them, snatches the hat off of the kid, and says, and we can't say it on this, the broadcast, because he curses at them.
We could deedle it, but
no, I'm not going to make Jared deedle it. You guys can look it up. Most of you have seen it. Grabs one of their drinks and throws it at them, takes the hat, and tells them, F their president and F them. And what do you think about that now? Right? So a fully grown adult man thinks, because he doesn't like Republicans and the president, that it's okay for him to walk up to two strangers in a burger joint, two teenagers, and essentially bully and terrorize them, snatch one of their hats off, cuss at them, throw a drink in their face. Because why? Well, because they don't share his same political opinion. And when you're a Democrat, when you're a socialist, when you're a progressive, that's what you do. You're a bully.
Does it go without saying that if the roles were reversed in this situation, that this guy would have been like freaking assassinated by now? And
oh yeah, I mean, you remember when during the Obama administration, when Republicans went all over the country harassing and beating and attacking people with Obama stickers, and remember when they smashed out all the windows of every car that had an Obama sticker on it? Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was all over the place.
Oh, that's right. It didn't happen, but it happened during the lead up to the Trump election. People with Mookie's car got vandalized, and that was just one of thousands. Anybody with Trump stickers, they got their tires slashed, got their windows broken, because, well, that's what they are. And this case right here, this is not unique. This is not a lone incident. Everyone's, focusing on this incident as a particular, as its own standalone. No, it's not. Democrats, progressives, liberals, they're all bullies. They are not the most tolerant. They're not the most inclusive. They're the exact opposite. And if you don't agree with them, they will attack you. And we've talked about this before. When your enemy tells you he's going to do something, you need to take them at their word. Was it on Cigar Time or on or was it during the grad program that someone asked, what do you think? Do you think that these Antifas and these liberals might actually resort to gun violence and start shooting Republicans and patriots? Jared, where was I asked that question? Because I just answered it.
I didn't see it on a Cigar Time, but I was only there for about half of the Cigar Time.
Yeah, when your enemy tells you what they're going to do, when they get together and they brag that they're going to punch Nazis in the face, and by Nazis they mean anyone who doesn't agree with them, because they don't understand history and they don't they're completely ignorant of the fact that Nazi stands for National Socialist. Anybody that a liberal doesn't like is a Nazi, even though Nazis were by definition socialists.
Yeah, but this dude was just following orders from his leaders.
Yeah, from Maxine Waters. What did she just say? We played the audio for you guys. What did she just do 2 weeks ago? If you see a Trump supporter, if you see them out there, you need to gather other people together and tell them they are not welcome. You need to bully people. You need to threaten, harass, attack those that don't agree with you. And see, Jared, this is the failure to understand the truth that a lot of people on our side, that's a trap they fall into. People on our side will say things like, well, can't we all just have a political discussion without resorting to name calling? Can't we all just have a political discussion, like rational, reasonable people? Can't we all just... No, you can't, because your enemy is evil. Your enemy is a bully. That's like going up to a rabid dog, a dog with rabies, and saying, if I pet this dog on the head and show this dog that I mean it no harm, it won't bite me. Yes, it will, because it's in its nature to bite you. And it saddens me when I hear people on our side saying, see, that's why I don't talk about politics, because, both sides are equally wrong. No, both sides are not equally wrong. I'm not going to fall into that moral equivalency trap. No, Democrats, liberals, and progressives are bullies. And this is just one more shining example of that fact. And the last thing I'm going to tell you guys is teach your children to fight back against bullies. Fight back. Not read them a chapter of The Purpose-Driven Life. Bullies do not respect weakness. Bullies do not respect kindness. Well, if you show a bully that you mean him no harm, then he'll have no reason to bully you anymore. And then he will be your friend, and you can sit down and share a Trix fruit-flavored yogurt together. No, you can't. Get your head out of the unicorn fart cloud. Bullies understand one thing: force and the threat of force. And you know why we have so many bullies in America today? Would you like to know why? Take a guess, Jared.
Lack of force?
Exactly. The reason we have so many bullies in America today is because of the zero tolerance policies in our schools. Because of the everyone has a right to their own opinion, it doesn't matter. Violence never solved anything. Tell that to the Jews in the concentration camps. Tell that to the people of Nanking, China. Tell that to the actually millions of people that have been sent to camps, to the special camps in Cambodia, China, Russia, Germany. Coming soon to a country near you, Venezuela. They're capping their enemies, and the enemies of the state in Venezuela are being put down, because that's what socialists do. Violence never solved anything. It solved a bunch of world wars. So if we listen to the violence never solves anything people, what we should have done in World War II was just stayed within our borders and allowed the socialists and the imperialist Japanese to run the whole rest of the world. Because, violence never solves anything. We could have just sat back and allowed the National Socialist German Workers' Party to eradicate everyone that they felt was not a worthwhile citizen on the continent of Europe. You think that'd be a great idea, Mr. Violence Never Solves Anything? Well, yeah. Shut up. Teach your kids to confront bullies. Teach your kids to stand up to bullies. Support your kids when they stand up to bullies. Stand up to the bullies in your school district. Stand up to the bullies on your school board. You, as an American, need to stand up to the bullies. because we got way too many in this country. And the whole reason that they've been allowed to foster, the reason bullies think that they can get away with what they do is because we've allowed them to get away with it. For the last 20 years, we've been allowing the bullies to have their way. And I think that Americans are getting fed up with it. And I would suggest that you prepare yourself physically and mentally to reject the bullies and to stand up against them. Democrats, liberals, progressives, they're all socialists and they're all bullies. And it's time to say no. No more, no mas. Not going to put up with it anymore. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a grad program member, you know what's coming up tomorrow. A bonus hour number 1, numero uno. We'll have numero dos on Friday. If you would like to be part of all that is the wonders of the grad program, like-minded individuals, special discounts and offers and all that good stuff, go to getsotg.com, follow the directions, sign up, and you can experience even more of the goodness that is Student of the Gun.
Experience tranquility.
That's right. I'm your host, Paul Markle, and you should be a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.
All right. Can I disconnect from the live stuff?
Totally.
Sure, you can do whatever you want.
I endorse this.